Hi, in this video we're going to be talking about a free tool you could use to manage your startup items in Windows. So of course you could use Task Manager and view your startup items and enable and disable them as needed, but this tool does quite a bit more than that. So we recently did a video on their uninstaller program, which was very nice and allows you to do all kinds of extras as well. But today we're going to be talking about their Startup Manager app. So there is an installer version and a portable version. So I'm going to be using the portable version. So when you run it the first time, you might get a message from Windows saying something about they don't recognize the developer, and you got to click on more and OK to continue. So just like with everything else you use on the internet, use at your own risk, but it seems to be OK. And then you'll also be asked where you want to place some supporting files the first time you run it. So you have an option to put them in, I think, the Windows directory in the registry, or you could have them put in the same folder as the executable, which is what I did here. So it adds this folder here with some files in it. All right, so let's start it up. Okay, so we see our items here, and we even have one error here. So this is showing in our startup list. It's not set to run, but it says it can't even find the file. So that's interesting there. And then we can see we have our CPU usage, which is nice. And then they're broken down into categories. It's, task scheduler, items that are starting, the Windows apps that are starting, start a folder, current user registry, all users. So the green means it's running, the red means it's disabled, and you could also search too. And it has a virus total score. You could actually scan these for viruses as well. And then down here, you could actually create a startup item right from here. So you could just browse to the executable and decide if you want it to start for the current user or all users. So that's a nice feature. All right, so if you right-click on an item, let's say Microsoft Teams, certain items are going to have certain options here. So for example, we have disable. We can't delete it. We could uninstall it. But if we go down to something like Acrobat, we could delete and delete file, delete and delete file on reboot, or just delete. We could run it, disable it, refresh, search online, open the file location. And then here's the virus scanner. So it uses all these antivirus apps here to scan it. So it looks like it's clear. And then you can actually browse for other items too, which we'll show you in a second here. Find the file information, file properties, which will just open the properties box, verify the signature, view the checksum information, and then you can browse to a different file if you want to check that out. Copy to clipboard, or make a report. Okay, so let's start by disabling this here because we don't need Teams. And then same with OneDrive. All right, so now it's disabled, but you can see it still shows us running, so it's going to be disabled on the next boot up. But you can right-click on it and then choose Stop, and then it'll stop it that way. Okay, and then the top here, you can change your colors, you can make a custom color, and then there's several tools here. So the system monitoring will not work on the portable version. You have to use the installer version, but it'll just add something in your system tray, and I think it just monitors your startup items to see if anything's added. Boot optimizer. This is kind of cool if you want to check out boot performance. So if you click on measure it, it'll restart the computer and give you a report. So we could try that out. I'll close this here. Okay, so we're back in Windows. So to see the results, you need to start the program again here. Then you might have to wait a second. All right, there we go. Took a minute. So here's that message I mentioned before where you want to save the settings. So I'll click this again to save it next to the executable. Okay, so you can see the kernel took this long, drivers and services took that long, desktop and startup apps took that long. You click measure again to start the process over again. You can see your boot history if you have any. And then boot performance log, which is similar, but this goes back even before using this program. So that's a nice feature. Okay. Then we have Backup Manager, so you can make backups of your startup apps if you want to do that to restore them. So some of these other tools were the same ones that you could use in their uninstaller apps, such as the Process Manager. View your running processes. Then you could terminate them from here and so on. Suspend, refresh, search online, and so on. Then you can even hide the Microsoft entries if you want to just see other stuff. Service Manager, show you your services here. Then you have some options to start and stop them, delete it, and so on. Task Scheduler Manager, if you want to see what scheduled tasks you have running on your computer. Then you can also manage those as well. Run, disable, delete, uninstall. Context Menu Manager, if you want to edit your context items for right-clicking. System Restore Manager, so you can actually create system restore points and manage them from here, but this computer doesn't have any, so it's not showing anything. All right, here's the virus scanner again. So if we browse for a file here, let's say we're going to try this executable, and it shows us our results. File information, we do the same thing as we saw before. Verify the signature. No signature found on this one. File properties. File checksum, which we saw as well. We do the same thing for this file, like so. Then check for updates, change the language, change your theme, and then you can just do a little quick cleanup and exit the program. Another nice thing too about this is you could just open it up just to see your uptime if you want, and then hardware specs as well. Alright, so as you can see, it does quite a bit more than just allow you to enable or disable your startup items. So I will put a link for HiBit StartUp Manager in the description, and then you can try it out for yourself. Alright, thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe.